Hello, traders. How we all doing today? What a weekend it's been. Palestine decided to invade Israel. Possibly Iran is the one backing. Actually, not possibly. Iran is the one backing it. Um, so that's going to add a layer of complexity for this week. And I guess the black swan event for this week is going to be Israel and Palestine. So you guys are probably wondering how this is going to affect SPY. And I was wondering this as well. I spent a few hours researching into it. So, from what I gather, this is how it's going to play out. If oil prices start going through the roof, then you can expect pullback in the market. Now, I think that come Monday, this week, and maybe next week, I think we might get some volatility short term. It might be a choppy week, kind of like how the last week or two has been for SPY. So I don't think it's going to be anything crazy, but if this ends up being a conflict that ends up spreading from instead of Palestine versus Israel to Israel versus Iran, then I can definitely see oil prices jumping through the roof, causing a big decline in the U.S. markets. And also, I believe Biden announced that he's going to give, I believe, $3.5 billion in aid to Israel, and then he also is moving some U.S. naval forces over near Iran. I'm not Iran, over near Israel. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Now, if it starts going outside of Israel and Palestine, then you could expect some major volatility to the downside. But until that happens, I would just trade like you normally trade, do your due diligence, and just go to what the market gives you, trade the price action, and all that good stuff. But let's get right on into the main event here, and we're going to be going over SPY, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, and NVIDIA. And so let's get right into it. So, as I've been saying, this inverted head and shoulders is going to be a big pattern to watch this week on Tesla. If we start pushing upwards, watch the neckline around 271, 272. If we start pushing downwards, expect to find support at 251, 244, 235, and then my lowest level of support I have is 215. That's if markets really start shitting the bed. Now, let's go over to Microsoft. So what I'm watching for Microsoft for this week is for us to start pushing upwards towards, I would expect, the 333 level to be a massive level. So that's going to be right here. I would expect us to push into here because this is a very popular support and resistance area. As you see here, buyers and sellers were always in this area, indicating that there's a lot of liquidity. It hasn't been tested too many times. We've only gotten one hit on it. So I would expect to get a reaction there. So let's watch that area for this week. If you start pulling back on Microsoft, watch the levels of 313 and 307. So that's what I'm going to be watching for that. Now, Apple. What I'm watching for Apple is if we start pushing that, we have to break down this supply zone right here. If we break it down at 174.56, then you can get a push higher to 180 and then possibly see 188 and 190 soon. So you just have to keep in mind that also we have all this short-term volatility possibly coming into the market, this being a geopolitical event. So just make sure that you keep an eye on things overall. But if we start pulling back on Apple, expect 168 to be a critical level, 173 to be an area. Now, if we start consolidating, I would watch it between 168 and 173 if we start to consolidate. So just keep that in mind for Apple. And then last but not least, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, as I've been saying, is playing out this head and shoulders pattern where I got the right shoulder possibly coming in is if NVIDIA follows perfect market symmetry, then I would expect it to come in at 468 like it did on the left shoulder. So far, it looks like it might because the neckline was a pretty nice close neckline to the bottom here. So I would not be shocked if we get a perfect hit on 468 and then a push downward. Now, if we start pulling back now, expect to find support at 448. Expected to find at 428. And then the neckline, which is going to be 412, 413. So let's watch that. Now, all things considered, SPY. So major levels I'm watching for this week. If we start really pushing down, I'd watch 417. As you can see here, markets showed this was a good support area. Right here, we broke through, false breakout, came right back down, retraced. Right over here, it was an area of massive resistance, support. So if we hit 417, expect a major bounce there. If we break down 417 this week, then really expect a lot of pain in the future. That's all I'm going to say. Because if 417 breaks down, especially 418 and 417, that's going to be very bad. Because you're going to get a very fast drop down to the 403s levels, 410s around there. It's going to come fast if it does break down that level. But if we push to the upside, however, I would watch as a first area as resistance 435.18 and then 439.81 if we start pushing up higher. First area to watch is definitely going to be that 21 EMA. If we smack into that 21 EMA and reject it, you're always going to get some resistance there. So that's why I'm watching on SPY, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, all those good names. And that's kind of my take on the whole Israel and Palestine conflict. Now, if you guys appreciate this content, please leave a like, subscribe. A comment would be greatly appreciated, positive or negative. Would be greatly appreciated. So hope you guys have a great trading week and good luck trading.